My son was taken aback when our eyes met, and I chose not to intervene. What started as a simple family gathering, a delightful meal to honor Mason's 18th birthday, evolved into an unforeseen and tantalizing encounter. As always, my husband Martin lost himself in his work, while I stood at the sink, washing dishes and baking pies, dreaming of a day filled with laughter and the warmth of shared moments. I often found myself lost in thought, reflecting on the moment when the polished surface of our lives, once vibrant and full of promise, began to show signs of wear, much like cherished antiques slowly revealing their hidden flaws. To those who lived nearby and observed our lives, we appeared as the perfect family, nestled in a charming home, with children whose laughter echoed like a sweet melody, their polished exteriors reflecting a blissful existence. Yet I alone sensed the shadow that had crept into this seemingly safe and intimate world. Martin was always chasing after new pursuits, leaving him a ghost adrift in the chaos of his work life, while I slowly surrendered to an overwhelming solitude that wrapped around me like a shroud. As the sun's warm embrace enveloped me that day at the beach, it heightened my feelings of solitude and longing, stirring something deep within. Mason and I found ourselves lost in the simple pleasure of tossing a ball back and forth, our laughter intertwining with the warm breeze as we shared whispers of our most cherished, yet mischievous memories. In that brief, intoxicating moment, I turned my eyes away, feeling the soft brush of his hand as he spread sunscreen across my back, igniting a spark of something forbidden between us. What began as a simple and tender act soon transformed into a labyrinth of intricate emotions, as time wove its delicate threads around them. My mind swirled with broken dreams, and it became clear that Mason was the only one who truly recognized my presence, lingering in the shadows of unspoken desires. His careless yet tender words and actions wrapped around me like a comforting embrace, igniting a warmth I hadn't felt in ages, a sensation that had been taken from me by Martin long ago. In that fleeting moment, I realized that Mason was filling the emptiness left by my husband. My thoughts drifted to the tantalizing possibilities this could unveil for us. However, the family gathering I had so carefully planned quickly descended into a melancholic affair. As we reclined on the warm sand, our laughter intertwined like a secret melody, fading into the background as the world around us blurred into a distant echo. An undeniable pull within me emerged, as though a tide had washed away every trace of happiness, leaving only a lingering ache in its wake. The heavy silence urged me to face a challenging truth, one that lingered in the shadows of my heart. The ember I once yearned for has slipped through my fingers, leaving only a lingering warmth in its absence. Martin returned home, his spirit heavy and his heart untouched by the day's mundane affairs. He approached me in silence, his eyes betraying no interest in my day, nor did he show a hint of care for his own son. His absence cast a shadow over my thoughts as I lingered at the kitchen table, the silence thick with unspoken desires. It had shed its softness, transforming into something all-consuming. I had woven myself into the very essence of his life, a delicate thread so ordinary that he could easily disregard its presence. As I lingered before the empty desk, my mind wandered to the shadowy echoes of cherished, yet forbidden memories. A wave of frustration washed over me, a deep yearning for the choices I had made, as I watched the delicate dance of circumstances unfold in ways I never anticipated. I found myself grappling with the fading memories of the woman I used to be, the one who embraced her family with an unwavering sense of pride. I felt a whisper of my past self, aching for recognition, desiring importance, and yearning to be cherished. As I watched Mason take in every word that evening, it struck me that he was the only one who could quicken the beat of my heart. His bright young eyes stirred a longing for the hope and trust that once ignited a forbidden passion. In a fleeting moment, the world around us transformed entirely. A shiver of unexpected delight coursed through me as his fingers grazed gently along my back. When his gaze locked onto mine, it carried a depth of sensitivity I had never encountered from a man before. Words slipped through my fingers like whispers in the night. In that fleeting moment, the world around us shifted entirely. Every emotion swells within me, the solitude enveloping like a heavy cloak, and the yearning to shed this pretense intensifies with each passing moment. Everything stepped into the light, revealing secrets long hidden beneath the surface. A subtle storm stirred within, revealing desires I had kept hidden for far too long. It felt as if I had betrayed the very core of my being when the impact struck. It was as if I had crashed into the very core of my being. As I found myself once again on the shoreline, surrounded by the crowd, a realization washed over me. I had woven the very chains that bound me and now needed to muster the strength to liberate my heart. My emotions were unfurling, delicately tearing at the fabric of my existence. Even in the absence of love's purest essence, the connection blossoming between us was intoxicating, stirring something deep within. Mason's expression transformed from playful delight to a deep, perplexed wonder as I held his gaze. And in that fleeting instant, I felt we were on the edge of an extraordinary revelation. I stood at the precipice of a discovery, one that promised to erase all doubts, leaving only an undeniable truth that would linger in the shadows of my heart. How can I ever find it in my heart to love someone who was never really meant to be mine? Our solitude and desire danced together, yet they lingered on distant shores, each yearning for the other in a delicate balance of longing. The divide that kept us apart felt as if it were about to shatter, while a wave of trepidation and doubt enveloped my senses. And with each passing moment, I began to realize that what I felt was not love, but something far more complex and forbidden. A wistful awareness hung in the air, an unyielding flow of time, shadowed by losses that lingered in the depths of my heart. On a lonely stretch of shoreline, I found myself ensnared in a tempest of feelings, teetering between the profound depths of love and the soaring peaks of rage. Martin lingered like a haunting memory, while Mason shone brightly as my guiding light. They were never entirely mine, so how could I ever find the strength to let go? Summer days, once a canvas of tranquility, now carried an alluring warmth that hinted at unspoken desires and hidden stories waiting to unfold. The sea called to us from the window, its shimmering waves enticing, as the sun bathed the room in a warm embrace. Still, the burden of Martin's perpetual absence loomed over my heart, extinguishing any spark of happiness that dared to emerge. His unwavering dedication to his work overshadowed our moments together, each instance cutting through my heart with a sharp, aching pain. I quickly brushed aside the thought and left with Mason, the only one still yearning to savor these ephemeral moments by my side. As we strolled toward the beach, I couldn't help but ponder the ways in which Mason had grown, his transformation stirring something deep within me. He seemed lost in a world of his own, nestled in the passenger seat, headphones cocooning him in sound, his gaze drifting beyond the window into the unknown. The knowledge I held enveloped me, a powerful wave that swept through my very being. He could disappear into the shadows in an instant, leaving only a whisper of his presence behind. It was a tantalizing mix of trepidation and an exhilarating sense of freedom to embrace these feelings. As these reflections lingered, I found myself drawn back to the tender moments when he was just a child, his small hand nestled in mine, a connection that felt both innocent and profound. The sound of his laughter echoed softly, filling the room with an intoxicating warmth that lingered in the air. As we stepped into the moment, an intoxicating wave of relief enveloped us, a shared sigh escaping our lips, as if we had finally surrendered to the unspoken tension that lingered in the air. Mason helped me transport the bags to a tranquil spot by the water, where a wave of relief washed over me. I laid the towels upon the warm sun-drenched sand while he set up the umbrella, stirring echoes of his youthful innocence that danced tantalizingly in the air. As I watched him change, an irresistible urge to draw him into conversation ignited within me, urging me to explore the depths of his thoughts and emotions hidden beneath the surface. I chose to stay quiet, letting the weight of unspoken thoughts linger in the air. I lay back on the towel, letting the sun wrap around me, a familiar embrace that felt both comforting and enticing. As I endeavored to calm my tumultuous thoughts, the vision of the suntan oil remained etched in my imagination. I caught a fleeting moment of uncertainty in Mason's eyes when I asked for his help. It felt as if he longed to break free from the confines of his situation. A surge of anticipation enveloped me as he finally granted his approval, my heart tightening under the gravity of the occasion. It caught me off guard when he extended his hands, now marked by the passage of time, shedding the innocence of youth. They glided through the moment, every gesture infused with a soft intention and a lingering warmth. Little did I know, the gravity of this seemingly mundane moment enveloped me with an intensity that coursed through my veins, igniting a feeling I had never dared to encounter before. Mason applied the oil with a slow, deliberate grace, his hands gliding over the surface as if lost in a reverie, pondering the intimate connection of the moment. His touch stirred a deep, intoxicating rhythm within me, and I willingly succumbed to the alluring shadows behind my closed eyelids. A wave of longing enveloped me, a feeling so profound and intoxicating that it seemed to awaken a part of my soul long dormant. The warmth of his hands sent me spiraling back to that intimate moment when I first held him, a delicate being nestled against me, igniting a forbidden spark within my heart. The memory lingered, a vivid juxtaposition to the intoxicating feelings that enveloped me in this moment. His touch, tentative yet electric, stirred within me a realization of his transformation, a young man stepping forward, eager to offer his support. A storm brewed unexpectedly from the depths of the unknown, enveloping me in its embrace. I tried to articulate a command, imploring him to stop, but the words remained trapped within me, unspoken. In the stillness, I found myself yearning for something deeper, a fleeting touch that felt both tender and forbidden. Yet I told myself it was merely a moment of compassion, easily misinterpreted, nothing beyond that. Yet it seemed as if the very fabric of reality shifted with every heartbeat, enveloping me in a haze of intoxicating allure. He hovered with his hands just above the edge of the towel, an electric tension enveloping us as I felt the weight of his uncertainty. I held the reins of the situation, yet I chose to offer a hesitant smile, whispering that it was fine, even as uncertainty lingered in the depths of my heart. Those words hung in the air, a decree that felt both undeniable and intoxicating. In that moment, an intoxicating hush wrapped around us, thick with unspoken desires. I felt myself sinking deeper into my own abyss, his touch the only tether to reality beyond my own desires. As his fingers traced a path down my skin, all sense of resistance melted into the shadows. My inner reservations melted away, leaving me caught in a tempest of feelings that I found difficult to express, even to my own heart. The depth of my feelings enveloped me, a tantalizing blend of isolation and thrill coursing through my veins. Amidst the swirling uncertainty, an unexpected joy unfurled within me, igniting a warmth that felt both thrilling and forbidden. Perhaps it was the way I held onto a desire that felt destined to last forever. As I stood on the beach, my life in ruins and stripped of purpose, Mason appeared like a forbidden light, a temptation I could no longer resist. A tempest of feelings swirled inside me, beckoning for recognition. He held a significance that transcended mere worry in my heart. In a dimly lit world, he was the flame that awakened my very essence, stirring desires I dared not voice. As our eyes locked, I felt an undeniable connection, each spark in his gaze reflecting the depths of my own desires. It seemed as if fate had woven a tantalizing thread, offering me a chance that was impossible to resist. In shedding the weight of past desires and future uncertainties, I discovered a warm embrace in the alluring light of the now. With uncertainty cloaking my thoughts, a delicate whisper slipped from my lips, carrying the weight of unspoken desires. Do carry on if you wish. Their souls intertwined, ignited by the fervor of the moment. He pressed forward, his heart racing with unspoken desires. With each deliberate movement of his hands, I felt a connection that transcended the ordinary, igniting a fire within me that was both thrilling and forbidden. I closed my eyes, surrendering to his touch as it spun a spellbinding tapestry of desire around me. It was a world I yearned to linger in, where every moment felt charged with unspoken desires. It felt as if he was peeling back the layers of my soul, revealing a deep sense of enchantment and true self. It was clear to us both that this was a moment steeped in significance, a fleeting encounter that danced on the edge of the forbidden. It was a forbidden journey toward intimacy, a melody of feelings that transcended the ordinary. In that fleeting moment, I realized his hands were exploring a realm that transcended simple touch. What I experienced was an overwhelming surge of complex emotions, entwined in a delicate dance of appreciation, melancholy, and profound solitude. An intense desire gripped my core, poised to dismantle my very being. My lips remained sealed, bound by an unwavering determination. In that suspended moment, desire took shape as my thoughts dissolved, leaving only the intoxicating cadence of our breaths entwined, breaking the silence that enveloped us. I stirred from my slumber, my eyes fluttering open to find him hovering above me. In that ephemeral instant, everything else dissolved into obscurity. We discovered ourselves on this endless expanse of sand, secluded from the rest of existence. In this moment, the constraints of society and the fabric of reality faded into the background. In that brief moment, I felt a world of hidden desires and unspoken connections waiting to be explored. Every moment overflowed with those intoxicating feelings that are often hidden beneath the dullness of daily life. I longed to capture the instant, to keep the divide between us steadfast, so that our souls and hearts could remain forever entwined in a delicate dance of desire. This beach picnic became our secret haven. The silence enveloped us, rich with meaning, rendering words superfluous in our shared moment. In that brief, intoxicating instant, my worries and fears melted away, revealing a delicate connection that bound us together in a way that felt both thrilling and forbidden. We drifted through a boundless sea of emotions, like two ships yearning for solace from a raging storm. This reveals that feelings can sometimes surpass the boundaries of words. In the quiet intimacy of our intertwined lives, the lines that defined our roles began to dissolve, evolving us from simple mother and son into something profoundly more complex. We were like delicate blooms reaching for the warmth of the sun, blissfully ignorant that one day, that light might become too intense to bear. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of passion, I became lost in the moment, unaware of how quickly the hours slipped away. As I breathed in the intoxicating aroma of the ocean breeze, I found myself yielding to a serene calmness that enveloped me completely. It felt like a revival, a sweet escape from the weary, worn-out routine that had taken hold of life. Yet, the moment had come to return home, and with it arose a haunting dread that enveloped me, much like an unshakable chill that lingered in the air, thick with unspoken desires. As Mason and I nestled into the car, an intoxicating sense of fate enveloped me, as if the universe conspired to weave our paths together, no matter the consequences. As we strolled through the dimly lit streets, my thoughts drifted, trying to escape the deep-seated pain that seemed to claw at the core of my being. With each turn of the wheels, the fragile veneer I had so carefully built around my heart started to crumble, as if a shadowy allure beckoned us back to the intimacy of home. Upon my arrival, I was once again wrapped in the confines of my reality, surrounded by the cold indifference that Martin had cultivated with his relentless absence. He murmured softly to himself as he worked, lost in a world where he was the only soul within the walls of the house. He seemed to be trapped in a world of his own making, a sanctuary of secrets and desires. The soft echo of his footsteps filled the kitchen as he busied himself with dinner, though it was clear his thoughts drifted to more forbidden realms. With every glance he diverted, the tempest of emotions brewing inside me became increasingly hard to restrain. Martin, do you find yourself craving something once again? In a bid to preserve the delicate balance of our shared reality, I ventured to ask. His smile danced across his lips, a fleeting whisper of warmth that held a hint of something unspoken, a secret that lingered just beyond reach. A knowing glance lingered as he delved deeper into the cabinets, searching for a distraction to fill the quiet of the evening. As I lay back in bed that night, my mind was entirely captivated by Mason. His gaze lingered, his touch ignited a fire, and his unwavering focus unraveled the very fabric of what had always been known. I sought to dispel those thoughts, but they lingered, haunting me with their relentless return. I felt the undeniable need to pause, to shroud myself in silence, yet a tantalizing part of my essence rebelled against the call to surrender. It was devoid of the intimacy and tenderness that Martin once bestowed upon me. As the days passed, Mason's silence deepened, enveloping him in an air of mystery. His silent demeanor spoke volumes, revealing desires that lingered just beneath the surface. As I crafted meals or lounged in the living room, his gaze sharpened, unwaveringly locked onto me. One evening, as I found myself captivated by the flickering images on the screen, I sensed his gaze upon me, steady, intense, and filled with an unspoken longing. I embraced it fully. I let it develop naturally, leading to a silent bond that lingered between us, a feeling that danced just beyond our words, yet echoed deeply within our souls. The weekend enveloped the house in a sultry embrace, igniting a sense of intimacy that lingered in the air. Once more we ventured forth, leaving Mason and I enveloped in our own intimate world. The longing to revisit the beach, our sacred refuge, swelled within me, its source cloaked in an alluring enigma. Perhaps I was yearning for a release from the stifling atmosphere of the house, or maybe I was holding on to the belief that the cool breeze would illuminate the shadows in my mind. The air was thick with unspoken desires as we ventured down the winding path before us. Mason sat in his seat, headphones cradling his ears, lost in thought as he gazed out the window, the world outside blurring into a distant dream. A thrilling sensation coursed through me, urging me to face the undeniable truth of the connection blossoming between us. The morning unfurled with a soft allure, wrapping the world in a tender, intimate caress. As I stood in the kitchen crafting breakfast, the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled seductively with the inviting scent of warm toasted bread. A smile danced upon my lips as I reminisced about the countless instances when Martin's eyes would brush against mine, a fleeting connection before he hurriedly slipped away. The rhythmic cadence of our existence whispered secrets in the way our mornings had evolved into an intimate dance of precise clockwork, each moment laced with unspoken desires. Today, however, he drew near and brushed his lips softly against my cheek, igniting a spark of something forbidden between us. For a brief moment, his essence wrapped around me like the soft embrace of spring's first light, but all too quickly he slipped away, returning to the confines of his ordinary work-driven life. The sound of his footsteps echoed on the stairs, followed by the sharp bang of the door, leaving me enveloped in solitude, wrapped in the warm embrace of the sunlit, tranquil home. As always, Mason glided into the kitchen with an ethereal elegance, reminiscent of a shadow in the tender light of dawn. He lingered by the window, a portrait of quiet contemplation, his gaze fixed outside with a fervor that was irresistibly enchanting. As I looked into his eyes, I felt the weight of his gaze, a reflection of that unforgettable moment on the beach when he seemed completely lost in me, oblivious to the world around us. It was clear to us both that our bond had become taut, molded by the years of unspoken words and unhealed wounds that lingered in the shadows. The warmth wrapped around me, and I could feel his breath hovering tantalizingly close, just behind me. It stood as a gentle whisper of how love and solace could wrap around every moment, igniting a spark of desire in the most unexpected ways. The moment wrapped around me like a silken shroud, igniting a fire within that rendered me momentarily breathless. I tried to speak softly, but before my words could take flight, he stepped closer, stirring a tantalizing mix of fear and exhilaration deep within me. "I must bid you farewell." I started to speak, but he cut me off. As he gazed into my eyes with an intensity that stirred something deep within, a tempest of feelings enveloped me. In that fleeting instant, when our lips finally brushed against each other, the very fabric of reality seemed to dissolve into nothingness. I felt the weight of its forbidden nature. Consumed by a tempest of passion and unease, I found myself adrift, unable to discern the delicate line that separates desire from propriety. I understood that it possessed the ability to erase everything that was known. As time slipped away, I sensed the echoes of forgotten memories awaken within me, not of love's embrace, but of the essence of who I once was. I broke free from every limitation and plunged into the depths of desire during those ephemeral moments. The day lingered on, each moment heavy with an unspoken tension, as if I were ensnared in a whirlwind of desire. Mason and I crossed a line that was never meant to be crossed, stepping into a realm of unspoken desires. In that moment I realized this was not a mere mistake, but a heavy secret that would only deepen its hold on me as time slipped away. I found myself teetering on the edge of my own reality, ensnared by the heavy burden of a shame that pressed down, relentless and intoxicating. His gaze ensnared my very being, while the delicate touches of his affection ignited a deep, intoxicating longing within me. Yet it felt as though we were on the edge of surrendering to a forbidden depth. In that fleeting instant, I realized a profound change had quietly blossomed within my soul. We found ourselves entwined in an emotional realm that eluded our comprehension, a territory both strange and bewildering, yet it echoed with an undeniable depth of meaning. As his hands brushed against my skin, the sensation broke through the barriers I had carefully constructed, unleashing a torrent of emotions I had kept hidden for far too long. I found myself pondering if I had made a misstep, for I was